Well, it's recording, so I better make the best of this. And since this will probably be removed, I'll use this. Sorry, but I'll be directing my attention to this one since I feel it's going to be removed. Okay. All right. Anyway, hello. What I'm going to do is read to you some stuff from Islamic sources to let you know why what Boko Haram is doing to the Nigerians, to those non-Muslim, those black non-Muslim Christians in Nigeria, to be perfectly acceptable if Islam is true. You may think, oh my gosh, you're a hater, you're a racist. Even though, yeah. Race has nothing to do with this, because anyone can become Muslim, you know. They don't have to be black or white or whatever, you know. So as long, you know, you just, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to read why Boko Haram is not the problem here. It's actually Quran 424 and how it's reported handed down in Sunan Abu Dawud 22150 and Muslim 83433, to name just a couple of hadiths that explain how Quran 424 was, quote, handed down. Okay. I know this is from Wiki Islam. I mean, not Wiki. Yeah, it's from Wiki Islam. I know this is from Wiki Islam, but guess what? It's quoting Islamic sources. And if you think these Islamic sources are false, well, just go to Sunnah.com, a Sunni Muslim website. And there are other Islamic websites too that have it. But I've noticed more and more that Sunan Abu Dawud 22050 is being removed from Islamic sources. And since I thought that maybe the same thing would happen to Sunnah.com, where they would remove Sunan Abu Dawud 22050, I made videos of it for my own, so I could point people to it someday, in case they do to Sunnah.com what they've done to these other Islamic sources that I'm thinking of. Okay. All right. I'll show you now why capturing women and raping them, even in the presence of their husbands, is fine. And that so what Boko Haram is doing is perfectly fine if Islam is true. Okay. It is important to know the context of this verse, Quran 424, as it sheds light onto the nature of allowance if we go through a Sahih Hadith in Sunan Abu Dawud. Okay, Sunan Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said, the Apostle of Allah sent a military expedition to Awtas on the occasion of the Battle of Hunain. They met their enemy and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captive. Some of the companions of the Apostle of Allah, it means Muhammad, were reluctant to have intercourse with the female captives in the presence of their husbands who were unbelievers. You get that? They felt, this is kind of creepy and evil to have sex with someone's wife, you know, in front of them, you know. So Allah, the Exalted, in other words, Muhammad, God and Ayah, sent down the Quranic verse, quote, and all married women are forbidden. You can't have forbidden sex with them, you know, or you can't have sex with them, period. All married women are forbidden. You can't have sex with them until you save, and all married women are forbidden unto you, save, that means except those captives whom your right hand possess. See, that's why these girls who are being captured, these schoolgirls who have been captured in Nigeria, are probably all pregnant now. And then it says, that is to say, they are lawful for them when they complete their waiting period. That's Quran, the Quran verses 424, and that's Abu Dawud's 220-50. Here in the above hadith, we are told why verse 224 was revealed to Muhammad. It was to encourage his fighters, who were reluctant to have sexual contact with female captives, even while their husbands were alive as prisoners of war. This is made clear when they said, quote, some of the companions of the Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have intercourse with the female captives in the presence of their husbands who were unbelievers. The Abu Dawud hadith is confirmed by the two Sahih collections, namely Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. In Sahih Bukhari we read, narrated Ibn Muhariyaz, I entered the mosque and saw Abu Sa'id al-Khudri and sat beside him and asked him about the al-Asal, that means coitus interruptus. Abu Sa'id said, we went out with Allah's apostle for the Ghazwa of Banu al-Mustalik, and we received captives from among the Arab captives, and we desired women, and celibacy became hard on us, and we loved to do coitus interruptus, means pulling out. So we intended to do coitus interruptus. We said to Muhammad, we said to him, how do we do coitus interruptus before, I said, how can we do coitus interruptus before asking Allah's apostle, that means asking Muhammad, who was present among us? We asked Muhammad about it, and he said, it is better for you to not do so, means not pull out or do coitus interruptus. For if any soul till the day of resurrection is predestined to exist, it will exist. In other words, you can get to the girl you captured and enslaved, like what's happening in Nigeria with the captive schoolgirls. You can get them pregnant. You don't have to pull out. Isn't that evil and creepy? Well, it goes on. This is Sahih Muslim 834-32. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported that at the Battle of Hunain, Allah's messenger sent an army to Awtas. I want to tell you, that's A-U-T-A-S. If you want to see this in an Islamic, not just Wiki Islam, go to sunnah.com. It's a Sunni Muslim website. As far as I can tell, they haven't removed it yet. If they do, I have videos to show that they had it before they removed it. Go to that Sunni Muslim website and type into its web browser type into Battle of Awtas, or is it Battle of Hunain? No, just type in Awtas, and you should be able to get it here, or Battle of Hunain. But I said Awtas will get you to others besides just the Battle of Hunain. So, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri reported that at the Battle of Hunain, Allah's messenger sent an army to Awtas and encountered the enemy and fought with them. Having overcome them and taken them captive, the companions of Allah's messenger seemed to refrain from having intercourse with captive women because of their husbands being polytheists. Then Allah, Most High, sent down regarding that, quote, and women already married except those whom your right hand possess. That means you can have sex with the women of polytheists. That's Quran 4:24. I.e., they are lawful for them when the Iddah period came to an end. That's Sahih Muslim 8:34-32. Okay, now, this is an entire chapter devoted to this in the Sahih Muslim collection. The title of the chapter speaks in volumes as we read. Sahih Muslim, chapter 29, titled, it is permissible to have sexual intercourse with captive women after she is purified of menses or delivery. In case she has a husband, her marriage is abrogated and after she becomes a captive. In other words, if you capture her, it's like she never had a husband. Isn't that evil and creepy? But you see, this is what allows Boko Haram to do what they're doing to these Nigerian women. It doesn't matter if they're black or white or whatever. The fact that they're not Muslim, you can rape them, even in the presence of their husbands who are non-believers. I think this is just pure evil. But hey, now you should see why Boko Haram is doing what it's doing. It's because it's got the blessing of Quran 4:24 and how it's reported, handed down in Sunan Abu Dawud 2:20-50 and Muslim 8:34-33. And then, of course, then there's also that Bukhari one I read, where you can even have sex with captive women. Okay, here's another one. This is Tafsir ibn Kathir. Alright, the ayah verses means also forbidden are women already married except those whom your right hand possess. You are prohibited from marrying women who are already married except those whom your right hand possess. In other words, you can have sex with slaves. Now that totally removes African American complaint for the time the U.S. had slavery. Yeah. Except those whom you acquired in war, for you are allowed to, for such a woman, you're allowed such women after making sure they are not pregnant. Imam Ahmad recorded that Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said, "We captured some women from the area of Awtas." Now this is A-W-T-A-S, so it's the same place but spelled a little differently. A-W-T-A-S. We could go to Sunnah.com, that Muslim website, that Sunni Muslim website, Sunnah.com, type in Awtas, and you should be able to see this part here, to show that Wiki Islam is fine. Type in Awtas there, and you'll get this. From the area of Awtas, who were already married. We disliked having sexual relations with them because they already had husbands. So we asked the Prophet about this matter, and this ayat verse was revealed. Also forbidden are women already married, except those whom your right hand possess, in other words, your slaves. Accordingly, we had sexual relations with these women. Alternate translations can be, quote, as a result of this verse, these infidel wives have become lawful for us. This is recorded. This wording collected by at-Tamidi, and Sahibin Jar and Muslim in this Sahih. So, this is Tasfir al-Jalalain, and forbidden to you are wedded women with their spouses, that you should marry them before they have left their spouses be. Oh yeah, that was changed. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I just want to show you that Boko Haram is just going by the book. That's it. It's not that because they're evil. You know, it's not because they're race or anything like that. It's because they're following Quran 424 and how it's reported handed down in these Islamic sources. Thought I'd just let you know that. Bye.